So I want to demonstrate how you can basically build out a science assignment. And in this case, I was given a paper copy of this science lab. Okay. So I scanned that with my phone using Scannable. And then Scannable automatically saved it to my drive. And then in my drive, actually, I right clicked and I opened with Google Docs. And this does OCR, optical character recognition, on the PDF that I created by scanning with my phone. And so in a case where I don't have a digital document, this is what I get. And it took me about 10 minutes of formatting and cleanup to get to this point. Earlier, we had created a form based on the information that needed to be collected here, actually in this area here. We created a form to collect that data. In this case, the teacher was going to have 10 groups, and they were going to pick the M&Ms out of the bag 25 times and show what the sample 1, 2, and 3 were. So we had set this up already, and then we had come over here, and this is the data, experimental data that we had been collecting. What we then did was take this data sheet, and we initially used a query to bring the data for group 1. So this was just selecting the data just so we could make sure that our other calculations were working correctly, where we were collecting the data via query. And then this was a little more complicated. I needed to do a count if it was actually equal to HH, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, or all lowercase hh. So we figured that out. We built this and put it in the right format to then be able to chart it. Built that for each. Once that was built, we duplicated it, and then we simply had a page for each of the groups. But then we decided to put it all on a single page, so we created a sheet called All, where I pulled in this data, and then I could aggregate this data across through here. Now that was done, we then created this assignment here. I already had it open. Okay, so then we we had this scanned document. We got it all set up in here, and then this is what is really interesting. So then we are showing how to link the live data from the form. So in this case, this is linked. This is the linked chart, and this is the linked data of the aggregate table. So let me show you then how this actually updates. So let me just go ahead and let me submit a group 2 again, and HH, and submit. And then instantly over here on our assignment, you'll notice that the aggregate table and the chart need to be updated. Okay, so sample 2, or the HH is just went up, and I need to update that data in that table there. It was actually one of those tables. I didn't see which one that was. So this now is ready to be used as a paper document, and students could do it in the old way of taking the M&Ms out of the bag, marking this in here with how many times these are happening with a little checkbox or something. But actually, automatically, this is all automatically happening from the sheet that we created. So again, we collect the data. This is 427 at 1112. Group 2, I collected that data. That gets aggregated over here into group 2. So if you notice here on this chart, group 2 has 6 submissions. And if I look at group 2, yes, 6, 6, 6, yes. Okay, so that's all been updated. So just to show that one more time, I submit another response. This is group 2. We had 6 responses. I'm going to do an HH, an HH, and an HH. This represents the alleles. And then I come back again in here, and I see immediately that data is updated. I update it. I update it. Data chart gets updated. And when I look here, I can see that updated, and now there's in group 2 5, 6, 7. And we can see that in here, 5, 6, 7, and so forth. So this sample is basically an example of using starting with a PDF. I actually had a PDF that I scanned with my phone, converted it, and reformatted it a little bit, but honestly OCR worked pretty well. Build a form, take the sheet that that form comes into, that's the form data, and doing some disaggregation of that data with just a couple of formulas, which I included on this sheet, I believe. No, they're not on this sheet, but there's a couple of formulas to disaggregate this data and make this into a digital lab for your student. I wanted to also show something else the students can see as they're collecting this data in their lab groups. If you turn on the form element here under the gearbox settings, see summary charts and text responses. If you have that turned on, then the students see this, see previous responses, and they can see how many times each group's responded, but they can also see a Google created chart that's showing me my percentages of these alleles as they're pulled, as this sample is pulled from the box. It's a little bit of a different representation than the data that we're pulling here, but it's also useful data for them to see, and this would be live. Every time a form submitted, you would see this new data.